Hi folks, it's Andy and welcome to this week's Kendo Rant. Okay, so here we are for another week of fantastic questions. We've got quite a few to get at today. We'll jump to them in just a moment. But before we do, there's some important things we need to talk about, you and I. First one, you need to like, share, subscribe. Go down into the comments and write a comment that uses the word Kendo. This will ensure that we grow the Kendo population. By doing so, the YouTube ninjas leap from their castle in the middle of the night. They go and find people who are about to start Kendo and they hypnotize them into watching YouTube more. It's pretty unethical, isn't it? I don't think that's how it works. Anyway, there's some sort of YouTube magic that happens when you do that. You write a comment, Kendo, like that, and then the Kendo population grows. I thought it was robots. I'm not sure it's robots anymore. Someone mentioned last week that it might be gremlins. I thought it might be ninjas, but I'm not sure. Seems pretty wrong, ninjas hypnotizing people. So maybe it's not that. I'll have a think. If you've got an idea what it is, type a comment down below. How is it that YouTube manages to increase the Kendo population by having you guys like, share, subscribe, and write comments on these videos? I don't know how it works, but what matters is that's what happens. Last year, we got 6 million people starting Kendo probably by doing that. I think we can get another 7 million this year. Target is 8 million. Let's go for 8 million more people. That's not in addition. That's like plus. So an extra 8 million, all right? So get liking, sharing, subscribing, all that good stuff. Make sure that YouTube does whatever it is that I'm sure is super above board to make sure that people start Kendo. Okay? But most importantly, if you like the videos that I do, if you like this content, I've got more content coming as well. I'm going to be filming some more next week. I've got some great stuff planned for this year. So if you like it, whether it's these Kendo rants, whether it's feedback, analysis, instructional, all of it comes to you free. All you have to do is support the channel by shopping at KendoStar.com. KendoStar is the best Kendo equipment website in the history of the galaxy, the universe. Since the Big Bang, in fact, before the Big Bang, KendoStar was still the best then. So it's always been the best, like since the dawn of everything, creation, civilization, Big Bangs, whatever it is, KendoStar was always the best. Pretty sure it's like standard knowledge now, but shop at KendoStar.com. You get the best Kendo equipment ever. You get the best service. That's the most important. Of course, I'd say all this because I own the place, but everyone agrees with me. I know there's pretenders popping up left, right, and center. They think it's easy to do what we do, but it's not. It's certainly not easy to do it and be the best at it as we are, all right? You're going to shop with us in the end anyway, so don't waste your money elsewhere. Buy once, don't buy twice, and come to KendoStar.com, all right? Best products, best service. As the ancient Japanese proverb goes, everyone's a winner, baby. That's the truth. Right. Okay. Let's have a look at these questions. Hi, Andy Sensei. Quick question. Firstly, any advice on fighting against Jodan? Yeah, don't. No, I'm joking. When I fight against Jodan, it sometimes feels like my mind goes blank. Secondly, when it comes to practicing Kendo in a different country, I've been practicing Kendo for quite a few years in China, and some of the terminology is in Chinese. I've been practicing about 5 years here. I'm not sure where here is that China? Anyway, when I go to another country to compete or practice, they'll usually use Japanese terminology. And then sometimes I have to think twice or first look at others. Is there any books or advice you can give? Yeah. Excuse me. So, Where's my little book? Okay, I don't think my book's here. But the best book to go to is the Kendo's the guide for Kendo instruction from the All Japan Kendo Federation. It is on the KendoStar website. There's also the Kendo dictionary as well. We have that too, English to Japanese Kendo dictionary. That's a pretty awesome book to have actually as well. So maybe have a look at that. Going back to your first question, how to fight against Jodan. Look, that's not something I'm going to be able to really like give you deep advice on Kendo RANT. But if I was going to summarize how to fight against Jodan, first thing, right? We learn in the kata, right, that you point the shinai towards the left kote. I've got like a half assembled shinai here. I've not even got enough room to show you, right? But they say that like point the shinai towards the left kote, right? That's what they say in the kata. If you're doing that with the shinai, you're still gonna get smacked on the kote. So my personal opinion is, if you imagine they're doing Jodan like this, right? Imagine the length of their forearm as being one side of a sort of equal-sided diamond or a square on its sort of side, yeah? And then if their wrist is one corner of that diamond, yeah, point the tip of your kensen towards the opposite one, all right? So not at their kote, but across a bit more, right? You keep your kote a bit safer. Two, fight them a bit closer than you think you have to. They can reach you when you can't reach them. There's loads of stuff actually. I can't just all fire it all here, but one more, it's pretty big. Don't let your feet stop moving. If you stop moving, you're gonna get hit. And in general, don't wheel around the place, but your movements want to be to your right side. Don't move to your left side. All right, move to your right side rather than your left side. Right, if you move to your left side, if you're in Jodan like this, you move to the left side, they go this way. It's easy for them. If you go to your right side, which is their left, they have to go this way, which means that their hand gets in the way if they're not keeping up with you, all right? So it's a little bit harder to keep track of you. Okay, that's just a couple of little bite-sized tips for you, all right? I'll try and do a proper video about how to fight against Jodan, all right? I wouldn't say it's my speciality, if I'm honest with you. I wouldn't say that at all. In fact, I'd probably say the opposite. I'm probably a bit rubbish at it, but I know the theory. All right, so maybe we'll do something about that. Okay, next one. Hi, Fish Sensei. I'm starting out in Kendo with my younger brother, and we're really enjoying it. Good. I have a bit of a head start from watching your Zero to Shodan series. Good. So I have a conceptual understanding of Kendo, which I appreciate. Great. My question is when should I start wearing Kendogi and Hakama? I purchased a synthetic set for my younger brother and I, but we aren't sure when would be a good time to start wearing it. Okay, so I'm glad that you started Kendo. Right, now I think I saw this question twice, by the way. So I'm not sure if it's the same person that commented this on last week's video and put it in the Kendo Show Early Access group. There's a link to that group in the description, by the way. That's a great group to be in. It's free to join group on Facebook. That's why I ask for questions every week for this show, by the way. So if you're wondering where you can submit questions, click the link down below and join the Facebook group. Anyway, but you can comment them on this video too. So I'm not sure if this was like a duplicate, if it was the same person that duplicated this question in both places, or if it's two people that have asked the exact same question. But if it is, you've got the same answer, all right? About Zero to Shodan, by the way, I'm glad you found it really useful. I've got a sort of continuation of that coming. It's called Zero to Sandan. I've already done the first episode last year. It's been ages since I've been able to get back to it, to be honest, but I'm going to start picking up on that again this year. Anyway, when should you start wearing the Kendogi and Hakama? I think the other comment said, because you were concerned about teachers being unable to see your footwork. That is exactly the thing you have to be concerned about, to be honest. So the only person that can answer this question, I'm afraid, it's not me, it's the teacher in your dojo, all right? So you want to ask your teacher in your dojo, just say, look, Sensei, I picked up a Kendogi and Hakama, I hope you don't mind, and I'm not pushing to wear it, but I just want to let you know that me and my brother have them, just let us know when you're happy for us to wear them and we'll start wearing them. And I'm sure that'll be fine. Rather than just sort of just showing up wearing it. Do you know what I mean? Because like you say, it can, some teachers prefer you to not wear it yet. Okay, so just speak to your teacher about it. That's the only answer I can give you on that. All right, in my dojo, I usually let people wear it after sort of a couple of months, though in my dojo I'm quite strict. So it's not that unusual for students in my dojo to go for quite a long time before they start wearing Kendogi and Hakama, or even wearing the Boga. But I mean, it's dependent on the students as well, to be fair. All right. It's difficult in my dojo because we only get practice once a week for a couple of hours. So hi Andy, is it acceptable to wear Kendogi that isn't the standard solid navy and one that is different colour with patterns? I'll make sure to ask my sensei. But I'm moving for university this September, and I'd like to ask what the general consensus is, at least in the UK, is on something like a light blue pattern Kendogi. Thanks. Right. Okay. I think I saw you ask this on Reddit as well. Right. Acceptable is an interesting word, right? Is it against the rules? No. No. Will some people not like it? Yes, some people won't like it. So definitely you're going to have to speak to your sensei. But here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. You might not like me saying this, but I'm going to be honest with you because I want the best for you, all right? I do. It's not going to look as good as you think it looks, I promise you, all right? It's not going to look as cool as you think it looks. It just isn't. And I'm saying this as somebody that used to think like this, all right? I've been through it. I'm somebody that likes somewhat flashy gear, all right? You know? I'm somebody that likes somewhat sort of... I don't personally sort of agree with this idea of applying the Japanese phrase, or is it derukugu utareru or something like that, the nail sticking out gets hit, that sort of thing. I don't think that's what it's for, is to say that's, you know, to sort of gatekeep coloured door, for example, which is what it often gets used for, or even like this sort of thing. I just don't think it's as good as cool as you think it is, right? So what I'm saying is it'll kind of give off a message that you don't necessarily want to give off, which is that you kind of slightly, I don't know, like there's something that you kind of misunderstanding slightly. Now, having said that, you know, I know there are pattern Kendogi out there. I've seen them. You won't see them on KendoStar for the reason that I said. We've had in the past Kendogi that have different pattern weaves, but they're not noticeably different from afar. But, you know, if you're talking like light blue with different colours on it or different patterns on it and stuff, I'm sorry, it's not going to look as good as you think it is. Like, no one's probably going to say something to you directly, but a lot of people behind your back are probably going to be like, what is that? Right? So I'd advise against it, if I'm honest with you, right? Now, coloured door, have whatever coloured door you want, right? Because people are, it's not quite the same. And I can't, if I'm honest, I don't even know why I can't. I think because the coloured doors become such a sort of standard thing, you know. But like funky coloured Kendogi and stuff, I'm not sure if that's the right way. Like, I don't think that's the way you go individual. I think a coloured door's cool, different embroidery on the minute maybe, but like funky coloured Kendogi and stuff, you know. I know there are patterned ones, but they're generally meant for kids, you know. Like, so kind of looks a bit like that as well. You know, like you see these like Musashi Zashi. I don't know if you've ever seen the Musashi Zashi ones, the white ones with the black stitching crosses on. That's called Musashi Zashi, right? It's named after the comic book, the manga Musashi no Ken, and it was done that, you know, they were produced in order to kind of sell to kids that like that comic book. Right? So, yeah, it's, I recommend sticking with the same thing. You're gonna, if you're not, just trust me on this. As someone that's been through, been through this. Right, I'm somebody that in the past wore some pretty embarrassing stuff in my Kendo career. All right. And I'm talking as somebody that's got like the latest door that I bought is super duper flashy. I've got a door that's neon green. Like, so it's I still feel like the door that is a slightly different thing. So my advice is, if you don't want to find yourself in 10 years looking back and going, ooh, that was a bit cringe, probably don't do it. Because I do that all the time. I look back sometimes. There's pictures of me from nearly 20 years ago and I'm like, ooh, get it away. Take it off the screen. Alt F4. Oh dear. Right, anyway, is training in alternated feet when you've injured one of them a recommendable mode of training until you recover? Or will it have a negative impact on your training after recovery? Bad habits or peculiar posture? I don't really know because I've never tried it, but it isn't something I would do if I injured my feet. I've injured my feet before, my legs or feet or whatever before, obviously, because you do. When you do Kendo for an extended period, especially if you do it a lot. But yeah, I don't know. It's not really for me. I don't think so, to be honest. I don't know if it would give you negative habits or stuff. I could see that it could do. But I kind of feel a little bit like, if it's that bad, probably you should just rest and get it better. You know what I mean? So, not really one for the idea of alternated feet. I had an incident during training last week where Sensei would explain what we're about to do multiple times. My partners either weren't listening or didn't understand, and were doing the waza wrong and not correct, and got corrected for it. Okay, what do you do when, as a junior, a senior student tells you to do a move the wrong way? That's kind of awkward, innit? I get that, but as you're asking what I do. I think I just do it the way that the senior person has told me to do it whilst I'm with that senior person. I just do that. I'm just trying not to rock the boat. Because it's not for me to point out that they're wrong. To be honest. So that's what I would do. But it depends how often, frequently it's happening, but I guess. But you could always, if you're unsure or not, maybe you could confirm with your sensei. But what you have to be really careful of is not coming across as you're a bit of a know-it-all, which is very easy to do if, especially if the senior person's got a bit of an ego. Do you know what I mean? So the easiest way is to just go with the flow. There's lots of ways to do waza, right? So you might even find something different out of doing it in a different way. Maybe. Depends. Okay, next one. Hi, Andy Fisher Sensei. Oh, we've got the full name. I know you heard about last year's Mamedo Kendo Cup in Warsaw, Poland. I did hear about the Mamedo Cup. I liked it. It sounded great. We're organising the second edition this year in May, and we aim to make it bigger and bolder. We count to have 200 players. I was wondering if you would be interested in joining in as a VIP, Shimpan, sponsor, or maybe player. All the best. By the way, I know your story is the best in class in the whole galaxy. There we go. You're correct there. We aim our tournament to be the best European tournament in the whole galaxy. Why European? It's the best tournament. I'm deleting that word. Best tournament in the whole galaxy. Right. There we go. Yeah. Right. Okay. Yeah. So listen, I did hear about the Mamedo tournament. It's super cool. If I remember it correctly, It was like a Swiss tournament, like not Swiss tournament, like Swiss. What's it called? Swiss ranking, is that what it's called? System ranking, something like that. Swiss pairings, is it called? Where like basically everybody gets so many matches, and your next pairing is based off like your score or your result from your previous match. So you, in theory, you should get matched with somebody who's of a similar skill, essentially. I think it's a super cool idea for a Kendo tournament. I have I saw it last year. I thought it was super cool. I sort of wanted to go to it, didn't manage to. I think it clashed with something else. Would I be interested in joining in? Yeah, I certainly would be interested in joining in. Not as I don't need to be a VIP. I'd potentially be interested in coming as a shimpan. Though I don't really see myself playing in it. I'd potentially, we could talk about sponsorship as well. I'm happy to, my ears are open. Listen, mail@KendoStar.com. Fire it across, let me know what we can do. Depends. I have been invited to a couple of other European tournaments to shimpan this year. So as long as it doesn't as long as it fits my schedule and stuff, then I'd be most happy to do that. I'd like to support the tournament because I think it's a super cool idea. I really do. So yeah. Next one. Only serious physical activity that I do is Kendo for several years now. I've noticed that my left calf got noticeably larger than my right because of how you use your legs in Kendo, with more tension and load on the left. Or am I doing it wrong? Is it a common thing? Is there compensation training that you could recommend? Okay, so yeah, it's not that uncommon, but it's best not to have like it super unbalanced. So I think my calves are probably I think they're probably reasonably equal in terms of size, but then I train both of them as well as, especially when I was like competing a lot, then I used to work out a lot as well, obviously, go down the gym and stuff like that, and I think that sort of helped me make sure that I develop my muscles in a more balanced way, and obviously I still do that. I still train now, and I still try to keep it balanced, so yeah, the type of exercise that I generally do is like specifically anything for the calves. It'd be like calf raises. So I'll hold some sort of weight and I'll stand and then raise up onto my calves and down again. Several repetitions of that, stuff like that. You can do it on steps as well. In fact, I did a translation of a video that Eiga Naoki Sensei put out when during the time when lots of people we couldn't really do Kendo in the dojo, and he did a video about how to train at home. The Zenken then put that out, I think, and I did a translation of it. So have a watch of that as well, because there's some calf exercises in that, I think, using the stairs, and they're pretty cool as well that you can use to help train it. But do indeed try to balance it, because if you have a muscle imbalance like that, like one side is a lot stronger than the other, then it really, I think it increases the likelihood of injury. Okay, so yeah, I'd be careful of that. And I know it's tempting as well, anyone else as well that's not necessarily in this position but is thinking like, oh, I'm going to do some supplementary training for my Kendo and like overtrain the left side and not so much the right side, for example. It's not a good idea to do that. Always make sure it's nice and balanced. Yeah. Okay, next one. Hello Fish Sensei and Happy New Year. Happy New Year. First, wanted to thank you and everyone at KendoStar for the work you do, the products you offer, and amazing content you create and share online with everybody. It's been tremendous help and support. Thank you very much. I very much appreciate that. We are doing our best. The team I've got is great, and they do a fantastic job. I'm glad the videos help, and I'm glad you're happy with what we've been doing at KendoStar. I'm relatively new practitioner, a couple of months. I have a synthetic jersey set that I like okay-ish, but I'd like to treat myself with a nice cotton set and my eyes on the kimboshi with double layer and 10,000 hakama. Question is, do you think this could be a counterproductive to my practice and learning? I know the choice of the Kendogi hakama is mostly personal preference, apart from correct chakuso. It's chakuso actually. There we go, you're getting Japanese lessons as well. But I wouldn't want to invest in something that could have actually prevent me improving my Kendo due to weight or comfort. Also, would it be weird for a beginner to wear such a nice set for practice? Finally, can't seem to decide which Vanguard to get between the V2, original and Myrmidon. I'll most likely save up a bit more to afford the original and benefit from the extra protection and durability, but what about the Myrmidon? Your thoughts for a first set? Many thanks in advance. Okay, this is a great question. Okay, so the Kimboshi uniform set is a premium uniform set, and it's absolutely beautiful. It is really, really nice. It's comfortable. It looks sharp. It is super nice. It is not a popular choice with beginners because it's not super easy to care for. You can't wash it like you can with your synthetic set. You've got to wash it by hand. You've got to take care of it. Is it going to affect your progress in Kendo? Is it counterproductive? No, not at all. Absolutely not. And is it weird for a beginner to wear a nice set for practice? No, it's not weird. And in Japan, you see that all the time, right? This idea that beginners have to buy cheap stuff and then earn the right to wear more expensive stuff is total nonsense. And it's completely like, I want to say Western, but it's because I've only experienced it in Western countries. I've never saw it in Japan at all. You see loads of beginners in Japan. Now, most beginners are kids, to be fair, so kids get cheap stuff. But most adult beginners in Japan, in fact, almost all the ones I ever saw, they decide they're going to do Kendo. They're committed to doing Kendo, so they go out and they buy the best kit that they could afford. So they turn up and they'd have uniforms like the Kimboshi uniform. They'd have hand-stitched Borga or really nice, expensive Borga, you know, because they could afford it and they wanted to commit to it. There's nothing wrong with that. Nobody judged them for it. No one was like, oh, you're a bit of a show-off. What's this about? It's not necessary. You know what I'm saying? So if you like it, you want it, you get it. That's fine. All right? That's totally fine. Now, it's going to be very different to wearing your synthetic one because it will feel a little bit heavier, but it won't be uncomfortable. It'll feel somewhat more substantial. All right? So there is a reason it's not popular with beginners, because it's expensive and because it's a little bit more, not a little bit, but it's a bit harder to care for. The dye is going to rub off on your skin and stuff like that for the first couple of months. All right, it's not a super convenient set. Okay, but there's no one should be telling you shouldn't be wearing it or something like that, and it's not going to affect your practice. Now, in talking about the Borg sets, which one should you buy? Okay. All right, you've picked the three of our sort of main lines that sort of people go for as the first sets. The most popular one is the original set. All right, the original Vanguard. Okay, so that's super popular because it's designed to be the sort of perfect first set. All right, it's designed to be extremely protective, very durable, and you're supposed to be able to wear it for a long time without it looking like a beginner's set. All right, so you see a lot of these cheap sets out there, not from KendoStar, cheap sets. If you think, oh, that's really cheap, I'll buy that. You get that, in a year's time, you're starting to feel like, well, I'm wearing this sort of kid's Borga here, and it's already started to wear out as well. So, you know, I think about that. Now, look, if the Vanguard itself, the original Vanguard, is a bit pushing it for your budget, then the V2 is a great choice, right? It's a great choice if you don't want to push your budget that far, because what you're compromising on are the less, I'd say, completely essential features. You lose out on some decorative features. You lose out on the IBB Mengane, all right? You get a standard duralumin Mengane. So the Mengane on the original Vanguard's a little bit better. It's a little bit more durable because it's reinforced at the top and it's got a better balance. And you lose out on the tighter stitching on the Mendare and on the Tare, all right? So where it's going to rub, and that's where it wants that tighter stitching. So you're losing out on the durability a little bit. What you're keeping, though, is you're keeping the comfort and you're keeping the protection, all right? And that's what Borga's there for, right? So it's great on that regard. Again, as I said, if you don't want to or aren't able to stretch to the price of the Vanguard, all right? But if you can, you will definitely feel that the extra money is worth it, okay? Now, comparing the original Vanguard to the Myrmidon as well, again, you're getting another jump up in price, but what you are getting is that you get an extremely protective Borga now because of the way we stitch it. It's got the very, very protective futon. It's definitely going to absorb strikes from some of the people that are sort of heavy hitting, especially if you're practicing with other beginners a lot. You've got the durable features from the Vanguard, original Vanguard, and you've got some slightly higher grade materials as well. You've got like nicer cote palms and stuff like that, like real deer skin on there. It's another one that looks great. It's definitely worth the extra money. What you get for the extra money is definitely worth it. But if you don't want to stretch that far, then you'll be more than happy with the original Vanguard as well. All right. If you've got the money to go for the Myrmidon, you will absolutely love it. You will. But if you don't, if it's a bit of a push, and as you say, you're going to have to save up a little bit even to get to the original Vanguard model, then go with the original Vanguard. All right. I would recommend, I know you're talking about getting a Kinbosh uniform, but maybe put that money towards, maybe look at like the Kurenai uniform, which is another really nice uniform. It's a little bit lighter than the Kinboshi, so it's not quite as expensive. Maybe put some of that money towards the Borg set and get yourself the original or the Myrmidon instead. All right, and you'll be much happier. The VT is a great set. It's a great set, especially if you're on a budget. But if you want something that's going to, you know, you're not going to compromise on some of the more durable features, then it's definitely worth getting the original, all right, or the Myrmidon if you can get there. All right, I hope that makes sense. Okay, last one. Hello, Sensei. Hope your New Year's been fun so far. Yeah. My questions are: one, how to get my Kendo more fluid and less robotic? That is the question. And two, what is a weird tick you still have in Kendo? Okay, so to get your Kendo more fluid and less robotic is practice Kirikaeshi and Uchikomi. All right. And concentrate on trying to be more fluid and less robotic whilst you're doing it. All right. But it is a case of just swing the shinai more. Just swing the shinai more. All right. Because by being not fluid and being robotic, your kendo is inefficient and you'll get tired faster. And eventually your body's going to have to become more fluid and less robotic in order to allow you to swing the shinai more. All right. But I mean, it takes a lot. It's not going to happen fast. Yeah. You train a lot and train, you know, swing that shinai an awful lot. And I definitely think you'll start to get more fluid and lose those robotic movements. All right. I'm sure of it. Okay. What is the weird tick? If by weird tick, if you mean like a bad habit, I think that's what it means. I've got plenty. I've got plenty. I'm just not sure if I want to go on here and say that so you guys can all go and troll my YouTube and be like, oh, there it is. But I think one of the ones that I guess I do have, and I'm sort of making an effort to fix it, but at the same time, I'm probably not enough of an effort because it doesn't really massively affect stuff. Like, it's not something I'll, you know, it's just, it'd be better if I didn't, right? Is when I do semi, or when I'm applying semi or receiving the semi or kind of concentrating, I subconsciously lift my toes as I step forward, right, on my right foot. Instead of sliding forwards, I subconsciously lift my toes this way, right? And it's kind of a bit goofy, all right? So I wish I didn't do that. But it's like super subconscious, so it's super hard to fix. You know what I mean? Like, I do it when I'm thinking about everything else. so it's super hard to fix. My wife hates it. She's like, I see her all the time. Like, if Miyuki hates it. If I'm doing keiko, she's next to me or whatever, and she sees me, or like, if she's queuing for someone else, she sees me doing, I can see her going like something. So I need to fix that stuff. I'll try. So yeah, there we go. We're at the end of another Kendo rant. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, write a comment down below. Get YouTube to work. Let's get that Kendo population up by 8 million this year. Shop at KendoStar. Have a great weekend. Hope it's full of Kendo, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.